Hey, what's up? This disciple Marshall Occurrence Rank back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day. So this message basically is going to be about MLK and Malcolm X being spiritually vulnerable. MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X being spiritually vulnerable. And the reason why this is important because a lot of you think as soon as you find, particularly a black leader or a person of African descent like myself, you you think they can't go no further than Malcolm X. You think they can't go no farther than Martin Luther King Jr. That's a 7 hour. You already looking at my path as their path. That's a 7 hour. Well, I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to inform the enemy that I'm not going out like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. I'm not going to be killed by my own people, and I'm not going to be killed by your government. And I'm going to show the non-believers and the Christian believers, the real ones here, the remnant here in America, how the man of God will survive. Now, I can't speak for Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. I can't how do I want to put this? They can't speak, their life can't speak for my life. So what happened to them is what happened to their life. That's not what is going to happen to my life. But the reason why I suspect that there has not been a leader to their caliber is because everyone gets discouraged by the paths of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Everyone thinks they're going to die. As soon as you see a man, you think he's going to die. You're going to say he dead. But I'm going to show you in this video how Malcolm X was spiritually vulnerable, and so was Martin Luther King Jr. He was spiritually vulnerable. This is no disrespect to the legacies of those two men. They were great men. They did a lot of great work as far as racial progression in America. But if they were here to speak for themselves, I'm pretty sure they both would say that their work was not done. Why was it cut short? Because they were spiritually vulnerable, going all the way to the top, trying to fight the greatest powers that be without spiritual protection. You cannot go to the top of America without spiritual protection. That's a 7 hour. You can't do it. I don't care what you're talking about. I don't care what you're trying to do. If you try to go to the top without spiritual covering, without God protecting you, thinking that God is just with this person because they got good intentions, that's not good enough. It's not good enough to say a little prayer and think God is with you. That's not good enough, buddy. You're going to the top of the world. These individuals went to the top of the world. There was no country higher than the American kingdom. They were going all the way up there without spiritual protection. That's why they didn't make it. That's my true conviction. That's my strong belief. That's why they didn't make it. So where others failed, I'm not going to fail. That's why many leaders, many of your greatest leaders did not make it because they were spiritually vulnerable. They were not covered spiritually as you think they were. Okay, let's go into the life of Martin Luther King Jr. Now, I don't know his total spiritual makeup, right? Whether he had a life of fastings, a life of spending time in worship and prayer, extensive time. extensive time. I'm sure he prayed. This man was a minister. But praying alone is not good enough. The Bible says some spirits come out not but by fasting and prayer, not just prayer. Some things only fasting can do. If prayer could do it all, then there would be no need to fast. If prayer could do it all, then there would be no reason for fasting. It's some things that fasting can do in the world, in your community, in your life, that nothing else can do. Now, did he live a life of fasting? I didn't hear him talk about it. This is a very important spiritual weapon. It's just as important as wondering if he prayed. Now, I'm pretty sure we know he prayed, but it's just as important of a question to ask spiritually, did he fast? It's just as important of a question to ask, did he fast, being on top of the world, being on top of this country? You cannot be up there with a 5-minute prayer doing 5-minute prayer daily. You got to go deeper into spending time with God and being with God and using your spiritual weapons. If you do not do this, you can easily become a casualty. Fasting is a lifestyle. By the way, you don't do this once a year. You do this this is a lifestyle. Right? Okay then. So if you really are a man of fasting, then we will hear about it eventually. We will hear about it eventually. Okay? So we don't know. But what we do know is that he was committing adultery on his wife. This is what we do know. This is what we do know. Him cheating on his wife is, whether he fasted or not, created a spiritual vulnerability. Now you may say, listen, I'm not here to judge. I'm here to clarify why they didn't go all the way. I'm here to clarify that this is not, better to say, I'm here to clarify that that this is not the blueprint for all black leaders. That you don't have to fear the government. That you don't have to fear the powers that be. You don't have to fear the police. You don't have to fear the Freemasons. You don't have to fear the wayward black people, that the same type that killed Malcolm X. You don't have to fear them. You don't have to fear the same kind of people that killed Malcolm X, the black people that killed Malcolm X. You don't have to fear them. Because the path that they had was spiritually vulnerable, which means it doesn't have to happen to you if you're following the path of God. It's better to say it will most likely not happen to you. If you are truly seeking the Lord, you're fasting, you're praying, you're doing spirit, you're fasting. Your fasting is spiritual warfare. Okay? You don't need anyone but God. Okay? You don't need a team of people. You don't need people to vouch for you. You don't need none of that. You need God. You need him. That's all you need. God will wipe out a whole nation if it's time, if that's what he wants to do. He's proven it before. He's done it before. America is no exception. If he wants to destroy America, America's over. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't nothing a Christian can do about it. Ain't nothing a Satanist can do about it. And any other little groups of people. It's Illuminati, you can't do nothing about it. The Freemasons can't do nothing about it. Police, you can't do nothing about it. Military, you can't do nothing about it. When it's time to go, it's time to go. Okay? Ain't nothing you can do. So what I'm trying to show you is this. What happened to Malcolm X, what happened to Martin Luther King Jr., what happened to them is because they were spiritually vulnerable. Martin Luther King Jr. was spiritually vulnerable, but particularly because he was cheating on his wife. Satan can come right in a situation like that and destroy an individual on top of a country, on top of the greatest country, the most powerful country in the world. If you're on top of that, fighting for equality, fighting these strong, wicked principalities and you're out here cheating on your wife, you're spiritually vulnerable. Satan can come right in. He has spiritual legal rights to attack you. This works by spiritual legalities. Yes, he has spiritual. Now the mercy of God can cover you, but I don't know how long he was doing it. I don't know that. I also know that he smoked. He smoked tobacco. Now, I'm not the one to judge. I just got free not too long ago myself, but this is also a spiritual vulnerability. It is. Okay? Those two things we do know for sure. That he smoked tobacco and that he cheated on his wife, which is adultery. And adultery is serious to God. It's one of the 10 commandments for people that don't know. It's one of the commandments that Moses was given to give to the people. It is very serious, right? It is very serious. Okay? And that's what he was doing. That's what Martin Luther King Jr. was doing. He was committing adultery, which is a very serious sin to God. And being on top of the country, you would think that would be the furthest thing from his mind, because you have to be an example of what to be. Some people will say, hey, I don't really respect Martin Luther King Jr. because he cheated on his wife, and I feel like I'm a better man than he was. Well, I haven't cheated on my wife. I feel like I'm a better man than him. This is why you have to be careful with what you do. I'm not going to say it took away from the effectiveness. Well, to some people who knew the information, it may have taken away from the effectiveness of his message. But for the most part, he was right about what he was talking about, right? But even spiritually, when you're more effective when you're not sinning like that, when you're not committing adultery, you ask any preacher, you're going to be more effective. You're going to be more powerful. Your message is going to come across better. It's going to not come across better. It is going to penetrate the hearts of the people because you truly are walking on a pure spiritual vibration. That's a 7. Your vibration is really pure for real. Therefore, it penetrates hearts for real. Therefore, it gets the job done for real. But when you have adultery on your vibration, now you see what I'm saying, then you're spiritually vulnerable. I'm trying to show you what God is showing me. Malcolm X. We're going to Malcolm X next. This is going to be quick and to the point. Malcolm X, in my opinion, was following a false religion. Now, do I disagree? Do I listen to members? Have I listened to members of the Nation of Islam? Yeah. I've listened to Farrakhan for over 10 years. And a lot of stuff most of the stuff he talking about America is real and true, right? I do not follow Islam. I do not believe it is the way to God. So that's why Malcolm X was spiritually vulnerable. You cannot be trying to fight the government without Yahweh, without receiving Jesus Christ and being filled with the Holy Ghost. I'm going to say it just like it needs to be said. You need to be filled with the Holy Ghost fighting against the American government. You can't be up there following a false religion, following a religion that is not truly connected to God. You cannot be up there doing that. That's a spiritual vulnerability that the devil will take advantage of. And let that be a lesson, and not their lives, I'm not saying, but let it be a lesson to you by principle that you can't be up, you secular people that don't know God at all. You cannot be up that high fighting America as some type of politician, some dry politician, or some pro-black fighter. You can't be up there without God. If you will be taken out. This is why they can't take me out. That's why there's serious repercussions. That's what my enemies need to know. I am not Martin Luther King Jr. I am not Malcolm X. You're not going to assassinate me. Everything that you have done has brought repercussions. You gave me a virus, you got a virus. Oh, you didn't look at that, did you? Ooh. I guess you don't pay attention, do you? You gave me a virus, you got one now. I bared my cross and took that as a champ, as a soldier for the kingdom of God. You now have a virus as well. You see how it worked out? Anything you do, we bring repercussions on it. That's all I'm letting you know. There's not going to be no, oh, well, we just going to kill him like we did in Malcolm X or MLK. Okay? That's what you insinuate. That's what many of you Americans insinuate, because that's all that you have before you are men that tried to go to the top of the country but was assassinated, and that was because they were spiritually vulnerable. Name one man that was not spiritually vulnerable that went into this area. I respect Billy Graham and what he did. I think he's the greatest preacher that will ever be here in this country. However, he did not totally go after the problems in the government. He did not go after the problems in the community as one needs to. Now, maybe that was not his position, but all I can say is this, man. All I can say is this, is that no one has done it. No man in your country has been spiritually protected and went and fought in a just way the powers that be in your country that's controlling you, manipulating you, lying, and everything in between that's evil. None of them was spiritually protected. So you don't have anybody to reference me to. All you will reference me to are the fallen ones that were spiritually vulnerable. That's a 7 hour. That's the only people you compare me to, because that's all you got. That's all you have to compare me to. And so for anybody even start talking, let me help you understand something. Like, and this, I'm not saying this in an arrogant way, but I've done what none of those leaders have done. They went after rights for one race of people, right? They went out equality for non-white people. I don't disrespect that. But I'm not going to sit here and be walking on eggshells because you don't understand that that wasn't good enough. I'm not going to be walking on eggshells because you think because you feel like I don't have the right to talk on it because, and you have this great reverence about it. Okay, that's good for you. But I'm trying to dismantle the mentality that no one can defeat these powers that be because they didn't do it. I got to dismantle that out of their heads, whether you feel offended or not. Because I see that they were spiritually vulnerable and you would never talk about that. Oh, you ain't going to talk about that. You ain't going to talk about the fact that Malcolm X was not even following the true way to God. So how was he? So how can you expect him to have made it all the way if he was spiritually vulnerable? Martin Luther King Jr. was cheating on his wife. For people to say, you're no MLK, you're no Malcolm X. Well, let's review who MLK was. MLK was cheating on his wife. That's who he was. That's who he was. Anybody got any objections of that? So yeah, I'm not that. I have never cheated on my wife. I've been married before. And I had opportunity to cheat on my wife for money. Just because of my beauty. But I did not do it. Some would esteem me a better person. Why you comparing me to MLK who cheated on his wife? So people will say, well, you're no MLK, you're no Malcolm X. I'm not trying to be that. I'm not trying to follow a false religion that's not the way to God. And I'm not trying to live the path of a man that was committing adultery on the top of the world. Listen, this is the only way. It's a tough job, but this is the only way we'll dismantle the past and the mistakes of the past so people can see that this can be done. There's greater levels than was Malcolm X Jesus Christ? Was MLK Jesus Christ? Well, we can be better than that. For people who even compare me to those people, I can be better than them. And I'm the next generations. I should be better. Anybody disagree with that? Anybody disagree with that? It's all about progression. So I should be better. Oh yeah, I should be sharper and I should be better. 40, 50 years later, I should be. Huh? Speaking on the same perspective or following the same path, embarking on a similar path. Shouldn't I be a little further down the road? See, you worship these men. That's your problem. Many of you Americans are worshipers of men, and you put shrines around them, and you allow no one to go above them in your mind, in your culture. In your culture, we even box out people, hear this part, that would even dare to go and think greater or become greater than any of your singers, rappers, or politicians. You will box them out from becoming greater because you created shrines. Ooh. You've created shrines on who you want to be the best and the greatest. And God doesn't agree with that. Because humanity is all about progression. You got people like Jay-Z say, well, after me, there should be no more. Not if God says it's going to be another one, it's going to be another one. You don't write the rules, buddy. But y'all believed it. After me shall be no more. That's what Jay-Z said. That's up to God. That's not up to him. Same thing for anybody else that you want to name. You think they're the greatest? God could bring somebody up better than Malcolm X, better than MLK, better than all of them. This is God's world. Why would he continue to create something that's not better than the past? That's a 7. Why would God continually create human beings that are not better than the Malcolm X and MLK? Huh? Why would he do that? See, you have made up your mind where you want to stop. That's why you ain't went no further. You have made up your mind who is the greatest. That's why you ain't got nobody greater. Because you made up your mind, Americans make up their minds that this is who we going to worship. This is who is the greatest. While God is all about progression. We serve a God of progression. You know what the definition of retardation is? You know what the definition of retardation means? Retarded means something that or someone that does not progress. You may feel this is brutally honest, but I can say your culture is retarded. Well, you're not progressing. I'm not picking at you. I'm giving you the definition. You're not progressive. You might have money, but you're not progressive. You may have culture, but you're not progressive. Hey, I just gave you a definition. So you're progressive? So if you're not progressive, that means it's a form of retardation. I'm progressive. And I'm sophisticated with my progression. That's why I can talk about one topic and hit different places. Bring different satellites and dynamics. You know how I'm able to do that? Because I'm sophisticated in my understanding of progression. I'm on one topic, still progressing. I'm on one topic, still progressing. I'm on different topics, progressing. I'm talking about the problems in the black community, the problems in the white community, progressing. I'm talking about the 44 states with child marriage, progressing. If you listen, I'm progressing with each of those messages. You just got to listen for it. But why you worried about if I'm progressing or not, if I'm talking about the same thing, look at your country. They talk about the same thing. They talk about anything new? They're not, are they? Listen, man, listen. Let me help you. Let me help people understand something. There are some people every once in a while that come like me into the world where you can't make a movement around me. You can't do it. You're not worthy of doing it. And you may think I'm a proud person, but you're not worthy of making a movement around me. Where have you been? What have you been doing that's anything close to what I'm doing? Then we're two different movements. It wouldn't even merge or make sense. I'm not trying to fight for one race of people. I'm part of the kingdom of God. We're on two different lanes. You trying to fight for one. I'm not trying to do that. That's not effective with changing this country. If you go up and try to use pro-black or pro-white or pro-American techniques, it's going to fail. I'm telling you right now. And it goes back to exactly what I'm saying in this message. It's people trying to go up to the top of the country, trying to do things without God. Pro-black is without God to me. Listen, man, listen. You need a godly message. You need a message for everybody. That pro-black message, it only encourages your community, but ultimately someone has to rise up in God. That's a 7. Oh yeah, it encouraged the people, but eventually a deliverer will have to be like Moses. Oh yeah, you're not gonna get anywhere like that. You can show them the inequalities of what's going on, but ultimately they're only going to be able to overcome this country with God's power, not with pro-black power, bro. And if you don't understand that, you'll be sitting back singing the same old song. You know what I'm saying? And you will build an aquarium, and you'll be feeding the fish in the aquarium. Fish that you already have. You won't be catching any new fish. You'll be feeding the same fish, fattening up the same fish, talking about the same things. What you need to understand is you put me under surveillance illegally. I'm holding black people to it that's here in this country, and I'm holding white people and everybody else. Me and you are not the same team. I am declaring this. I have free will. I am a free agent. And I am telling you, whether you think it's godly or not, me and you are not together. Yeah, don't flatter yourself. That's what you're trying to do. You're a fan. That's what you are. You're a fan. Disguised as enemies, disguised as OGs. Disguised as people that got me trying to see if I'm good. You a fan. I'm going to tell you like Nas told Jay-Z, you a fan. You ain't nothing but fans. And I don't need no fans. I need people to go collect what I need. I need people to go speak up on the truth. I don't need no babysitters. I'm not a baby. I don't need you to be here watching out for me. I've been through Los Angeles. I've been through the West Coast and down in the South. Where was you then? Where was you when I was in California? Huh? I don't need you now. And that's what you need to know. You need to hear me say this. I don't need you now. Yeah, go your own way. Do your thing. That's what you need to hear. Because you walking around here talking about he good and all of it. Like you taking care of me. You ain't taking care of me. You know how much money I get a month? You ain't taking care of me. You flattering yourself, trying to be a part of the kingdom of God, trying to attach yourself to something great. That's how I take it. In which equates to me nothing but a fan. That's all you are. I don't need no fans. I don't care if they black fans, white fans, or whatever other kind of color fans. This is a real war. I ain't playing no fan games where you get to spectate me fans and you don't take a tax that I take. You got to take the same level of a tax I take if you call yourself with me. And you're not doing that. And you're not attacking as I am attacking. I am attacking the American government talking about 44 states with child marriage. You're not doing that. And if you're not doing that, how are we the same? How are you a part of my team if you ain't doing that? You ain't doing that. So don't flatter yourself. You can't possibly be a part of what I'm doing. Let's end that now before we even go into 2023. Before we even go into it, part ways with me. The foolishness stops when you act like you're part of me and you ain't even sat down and talked to me face to face. That foolishness stops now. You're a video game loving fool. That's what you are. So what's wrong with half of you Americans? You think everything is a game, some type of video game or some alter reality or something, or you're some type of alter ego or something. That's what's wrong with you. Now you found somebody like me. I'm not a part of your culture. I'm un-Americanized. I know all about it. But I'm not part of it though. And that's the difference. I'm not part of your community. So you can get mad, you can hate me, but at the end of the day, I am way out of your league. I'm doing way more than you're doing. I'm doing way better than you're doing. And that's what you have failed to realize. I'm already doing what you have not done in decades. And you think I'm gonna let you ride up and slide up and be a part of my situation without showing proper respect and qualifications and doing what I'm doing, and you're not doing what I'm doing. Nah, man, come on. That's a user. That's an opportunist. That's what you are. You are an opportunist. Trying to pull up on me, trying to collect off my bag, just like some street cons. I'm gonna call it what it is. Black, white, or whatever. You street cons to me. Well, how you gonna think you part of me and you ain't never talked to me face to face about these real issues? That's ridiculous. Listen, man, you're playing a game, an X-Men game format that didn't work with me. I'm in the real world. You come to me like a man and talk to me face to face as a man. If you're a woman, you talk to me face to face as a woman about the issues in broad day like I'm doing. You don't think this is working, but this is the revolution. This is not a war. When you have a war, you have to fight. You have to fight ferociously. In a revolution, you also have to fight. But in my particular revolution, I don't have to do all the fighting that other people have to do. They just have to know what I'm declaring. You got 44 states with child marriage. And people are slipping on what this is. This is the revolution. So who's going to fight me? Who's going to fight the guy that's talking about 44 states with child marriage? What government, can this government, America, withstand it? So that's going to be a fight between me and them. That's substantial. It won't work. It won't last. Your country is too moved in the opposite direction of child marriage for them to last when this information comes out. I don't need anybody doing anything other than spreading this information. Now you see what I'm saying. If you was vigorous as you are about thinking you on my side and you was spreading this information, we would be further along. We'll be further along. You think you need to physically start wars and physically do this and physically do that. What you need to do is verbally take this information and put it on the internet and go out there and tell every person that America has child marriage here right now. That's all you need to do. And if you have a brain, if you truly are American, you understand how effective this is going to be. You don't need, listen, if you're an intelligent person and you are an American and you are cultured, you know what this is going to do. You know what this information is going to do. And you know I'm going to win without shooting one gun. I don't have to, are you serious? I don't have to shoot no guns. Why would I do that? This information is so powerful. All your celebrities, all the people that is in your community, it's going to change everything. But you're still trying to play the game that they're playing. You're trying to play war games and foolishness that it's dated. It's dated to a man like me. I'm getting this done. Your methods are dated. I know you're using all this psychological stuff, but you still dated. Your methods are still dated. What is it producing? This information I'm talking about is producing a revolution. What are your activities producing? Let's get down to the crust of the matters. What is your information and activities? What is it creating? It's all about creation. We serve a God of creation. We serve a God that creates. What are you creating? That's what I'm saying. You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. All you're doing is talking around and yapping, and just showing how ignorant white culture and black culture and every other culture can be in America. That's all you're doing. You're confirming the ignorance of your culture. You're confirming the ignorance of your people. Hey. Many people thought you was like that all along. That's for white people and black people. In other words, people will say, people are right about those Americans. Look how ignorant they are. They were absolutely right about them. Look how ignorant they are. That's a death in itself to confirm racist people's arguments. You're confirming it. Oh, okay. You lost that war, buddy. In other words, and I don't use it in this term, it's white people gonna say, see, they're niggers. I told you. And you lost. And I win. You know how I win? They can't confirm that I'm a nigger. They can't confirm it. They can't confirm it. I might not do stuff exactly how they want. I might be considered a brute to many people, but they can't confirm I'm an ignorant person. They can't confirm I'm a nigger. What about you? Do you make your enemies right? Do you make your enemies right? For you white people, you know, all the whole thing is a lot of people just don't trust these white Americans. It ain't white people everywhere. It's the ones here in America. Are you confirming that? Are you making that valid of a perspective? Then you lost. You both lost. Black people considered ignorant. White people considered people you can't trust. White people considered savages and still slave masters. All you're doing is confirming in who your ignorance. And to a man like me of my stature, I feel that you lost. Men of my level of honor feels that you lost. Well, you confirmed the images of your enemies. Yeah, you can't just listen. It ain't all about shoot 'em up, bop, pop, pop. You know, there's a part of the show that we get to that sometimes. But in spiritual war, we getting that done anyway. We just don't have to use guns like you do. So see, I'm more innovative than you. You don't see me using any guns, but you see me getting the job done, don't you? So it looks like I have evolved and you have not to my level of living. Well, you're still using guns. Guns is a dated weapon, buddy. Your government is using psychological weapons at this point. We're above those weapons too. Everything you're doing is dated. That's all we're saying. I don't confirm my enemies' images of me. They can't get me to be a pedophile. They can't get me to be a racist. But you confirm that you're a pedophile. You got 44 states with child marriage. You confirmed it, baby. That's a 7 hour. You see how I win? That's a law. That's a devastating loss. Who cares what you win, what wars you win? You have 44 states with child marriage. Hey, you got 44 states with child marriage. You think anybody care about you winning a war? You see how devastating news like yours can be? I mean, look at it for what it is. You can't really be taken seriously anymore when you're marrying children. I tried to tell you. You can't say I ain't tell you. Can you say I ain't tell you? I told you we won. I told you we won. And you thought I was being funny. You thought I was tripping, as you would say. I'm going all the way. I'm going all the way where all your other people did not go. Where all these other individuals that you respect, they didn't go as high as me. Because they were not spiritually protected. They were not spiritually protected. They were not spiritually protected. Okay? They were not spiritually protected. See, you're in a generation now where you worried about perfect YouTube videos and fans and likes and stuff. Man, I'm an 80s baby. I'm an 80s baby. All I'm worried about is getting this message out by any means necessary. That's all I'm worried about. I ain't worried about nothing else. I don't care about nothing else. I care about getting this message out to the masses. I care about getting this message out to the proper uh, outlets on social media and all those places. So stop flattering yourself like you're helping me. Stop acting like you're helping me. Stop acting like you're a part of this strength when you're not doing anything but riding around like you riding and sliding. All you're doing is acting like the rest of the arrogant Americans that think they're doing the same thing against me. They think they riding on me. How you riding on me when I got 44 states of child marriage information on you? And wars of honor? The code of death before dishonor, right? In your case, where you're not a prophet of God, you're not a servant of God that will have dishonor, right? You're just an American. And you've been in your country has 44 states with child marriage. There's a principle that says death before dishonor. You have dishonor on the table. I presented to you the dishonor. The dishonor is you've been walking around like John Wayne for kids, and you got 44 states with child marriage. So what happened to your code of death before dishonor? All these tattoos that these people got, all these Americans, go check them out. All these Americans got death before dishonor. They got death before dishonor tattoos. They got death before dishonor clothes and hats and shirts. Then why are you not dead yet then? And I have thought about this before. Why are you not dead yet? We don't want you here no more. You have went around playing with people's lives. Your whole culture and community did it. It's not just one group of people. That's why it's not fair to even attack one group. It's not just one secret society. It's been the whole community. They're the ones trying to protect you from the judgment of God. Like I'm stupid, like I don't know. The secret societies are now trying to protect you. But then you're going to get it either way it goes. You know why? Because you have dishonor on the plates of these Americans. You have to eat the dishonor. You don't listen. There's some things that will call for you to die without me shooting a gun. You are dishonorable according to your culture. In Japan, you have one culture. Their dishonor may be this, that, and the third. According to your American culture, you are dishonorable and worthy of death. I said it right there. Well, if you go to the prison system, people want to kill people. People want to kill people that have molested children. They want to kill them. So what's supposed to happen to you? Oh, you get a pass because you're the American government. Oh, you get a pass because you're Republicans. Oh, you get a pass because you're Democrats and politicians. We don't care about that. That's how you know anarchy is on the way. I do not care who you are. I look at the principles and the culture of your country, which your actions is a contradiction to it, and it is worthy of death just like everybody else. That's what I'm saying. It's death before dishonor. You're not going to weasel your way out of this. You're not going to wash your way out. I'm trying to tell you now, you're not going to do it. And so for people that are truly doing what I'm doing, that's what you need to know. I guarantee complete victory once these superstars and all these famous people, the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's of the world, once they know about this, it's over. It's over. Once they know it's 44 states with child marriage, the Jay-Z's, the Nas's of the world, the Lil Waynes of the world, once they know it's over, bro. Once Kanye knows it's over, what he gonna say after that? How he gonna vouch for America after that? In his right state of mind. It's over, bro. And I don't care. Just like a soldier don't care. You went to war with me, you think I'm a fold up at the last minute when you about to die? Nah, this is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been waiting for. You're not the country you claim to be anyway. I look at it that way. You a funky country marrying children in 44 states. With your funky self. You stink worse than anybody on the streets. You got 44 states with child marriage. You telling me you don't stink worse than anybody? Shit, you stink worse than anybody. I don't care. That's what real warriors do. We suppress all emotion and sympathy. You marrying children. You think I'm suppressing all my feelings just to make sure you go. I'm not putting on no show. God is backing me. We're going to end this foolishness. And this is how a new country will start. Because let me help you understand something. For people that understand Bible prophecy, either way it goes, America got to go. Oh, okay, how's it going to be a new world order and America just standing there proudly resist and they're separate from the new world order? They have to fall in order for it to be a one world government, idiots. Use common sense. How is it going to be a one world order, but in America, hear this part, America with these crazy Republicans, Southern Republicans, all in Texas, all everywhere, you think they're going to give their power over to a one world government? You think they're going to give their power over in their sovereignty over the world now? They got that over the world on their own. They don't have to join anybody else. You think they're going to give all of that up for no reason? They have to fall, and out of desperation, they will join other people. That's a 7th hour. So listen, either way it go, this is wrapped up. They either fall this way or they fall according to the one world government plan. Because ain't no America gonna stand and allow the one world government to rule over them, or they join it unless they fall from power. Think about what I'm saying. These crazy Americans that are fiercely independent are just gonna say, yeah, we'll join that. We're cool with that. They're not gonna do it. The only way they're gonna join it is if they lose their power. Am I right or wrong? And so either way it goes, you fighting in vain. That's what I'm trying to show you. You fighting in vain when I could have been the one that probably helped you. But you definitely fighting in vain thinking that you're going to help America survive. It's doomed to fail. How is it going to be a one world government? Which that's all that would lead to anyway. If it's not defeated, if the one world government plans and the new world order plans are not defeated, that's where it's going. That's where it's going. And so guess what? Some will say that someone is intentionally going to destroy this country. Many people are going to intentionally destroy it so that it is joined to a one world government. That's common sense. And like I said, it's also common sense that America is not just going to give up their sovereignty that they have over the world, their rule over the world police. They're going to give up all that to join a one world government, which will put them in the pot with all other countries. And they have no power over all the rest of the countries as they do now. You think they're going to just give up that power? Then what you think is supposed to happen? They're going to fall, and out of desperation, they will join the rest of the world. They will become another country. And you can see from all their activity and what they've done that they're reduced down to other countries anyway already. From their actions, they're already reduced down to another country. It's already there. They're already reduced down and ready to give up their sovereignty. They're in the position, in other words. This is what I'm trying to show you. Your best bet was to go with the prophet. Because if you think you're going to fight me and then somehow end up with America is on top, you still got to fight the one world government. You still got to fight the plans. You still got to fight the New World Order. Oh, you going to win that? Well, that is not a part of prophecy now, is it? It's not part of prophecy for you to win, is it? I didn't hear nothing about America over here in the one world government over there. I didn't hear nothing about America over here in the New World Order over there. Nah, buddy. You tripping. You tripping hard. Some will say this is the center point of it. Some will say that. So you would see, it leads you all the way back to what my movement and what I'm saying. And I don't need you to follow me around. I don't need you to do none of that. I don't need you to come around and gather around and listen. I need you to go and tell people that 44 states has child marriage in America, and then we can get rid of this system, and then we can effectively fight what is to come. But you can't do it trying to uphold this whore called America. You can't do it. You can't do it, man. You can't do it. It's not, and it may hurt you to the core. I don't know too many black people that's all 100 with America. Not like that, considering all this shooting and crazy stuff going on. But I know for white America, it's going to hurt you to the core. I know. You're going to be the hardest ethnicity to win over because you have so many memories of the 60s and 70s when you were smoking pot out by a lake and you were so cool in your Mustang. Random information, but true. And now it's all over. You're going to be the hardest people to win because you got too much nostalgia. If any race has the most nostalgia connected to America, it is the white Americans. They made money, they had fun, they did everything. Black people, on the other hand, hey, I don't feel like I missed out on, I don't feel like I'm missing anything. If they go away, I don't feel like I missed too much. I don't feel like I missed a whole lot if this goes away. And see, but here's where it gets tricky because now the wicked African empire is a part of America. So they feel like, hey, we have stuff to lose. You might not, but we do. Because you have now joined yourself to the white American empire. You have joined yourself to it. Well, the foundation of it is white American. Pretty much. It ain't black American that's the foundation, is it? And so now you fight on the side of them. Meanwhile, 80% of the African American community does not experience the rich African American experience here in America. 80% of us do not experience that. The other 20% y'all do. So basically that does not speak for the African American experience here, in the real African American experience does not care what happens. Hey, we not missing out on anything. That's how I see it. I'm not missing out on a whole bunch, buddy. That's what you got to first understand. Now, the rest of y'all, oh, it may hurt you to the core, I don't see how, because the world is so dark and the country is so dark. I mean, what are even if you have money, you have this, that, and the third, it's really not the same world it once was. For crying out loud. It's not. It's not. So to me, I don't feel like I'm missing out on a whole bunch. You may feel this way, that's you. I don't feel that way. Okay? So you see why I'm going to win. You see why I'm going to win. Because I'm not going up there like everyone else and fighting and saying, I've just been oppressed all my life. That is not working. That is not going to work. What is going to work is to start the change and the dramatic change, the revolution, is revealing that our government has 44 states for child marriage, the world record for the lowest age of consent, the age of consent under 18 in 40 states. They passed the last child marriage law July 1st, 2019, 3 years ago. That's what's going to be effective. They just passed the last child marriage law 3 years ago. This shows us these people want to marry children today. See, Malcolm X said by any means necessary. You don't go by that. You want to do it pro-black way. That's the way you want to do it. Why don't you admit it? You want to make it look pretty for black people. I just want to get it done. That's the difference between me and you. I just want to get it done. I just want the oppression and the inequality to stop. You want to do it a certain way. You have a dream of how you want it to happen. I don't care about how it happens. As a real soldier, I don't care about how it happens. And I see that this is the way. And I see that the way that you're trying to do it is not going to benefit. It's not going to work because no one cares. Okay, why haven't any of the other countries come to our aid? They not speaking up. They're not really doing that. They're going with white Americans. They're not going with you. They're not going with us. Why the whole world ain't speaking up for you then? You ever thought about that? With all this that's going on, how come somebody didn't just come over here and fight these people? No one did it, did they? No other country fought for black people over here, did they? They seen what you was going through. They didn't even talk. Did they really talk about it? Oh, okay, they might have said a couple things, But did they really fight, bro? Well, I didn't hear anything about it, really. Did you? Nothing worth noting. And at the end of the day, it's still going on anyway. So they wasn't effective. And you worried about upholding anybody and everybody. If based on that, you shouldn't worry about none of it. Well, ain't no other country been really helping you, have they? As black people, what other country really helped you? Did Africa even really help you? Hey, man, I'm just being 100. No one really helped you. So why should you worry about what goes on, what happens in the process of this situation? Why should you even worry about it? I know it's a very dangerous mission. It is. You don't know who's going to survive and who's going to make it. But you know what? I tell you this. Any people that have caused this much trouble for fun, I don't care. They deserve what they get. I don't care what it looks like after it. I don't care what happens. Long as this is gone, what you call the system of America. Long as that's gone, I don't care what happens. See, they don't have to die. The system just has to go. That's the good part for them. But I suspect that they're not going to go out without a fight. So me being discretional, I got my bases covered. Hey, I got my bases covered, buddy. Because I feel like they ain't going to go out without a fight. So guess what we going to do? We're going to use spiritual weapons, and we're going to keep bombing and bombing, using spiritual weapons on anybody that wants it. Okay? Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Anybody playing no games? I'm already aware of your mentality. After all, I was American. I'm very clear on how you think. You want to kill. You think this is the solution, but it ain't the solution. Because either way it goes, you're giving up your sovereignty to the one world government. Oh, you didn't think so, did you? You see, this is over regardless. In other words, basically. So how's it going to get better? Don't you see where this is going? It's going towards the one world order, the one world government, the new world order. It's going towards that, whether you like it or not. The world doesn't ask you if you like it, huh? I'm trying to understand where you think this is going. Maybe we need to let you talk a little bit, because I want to know where you think this is going. I'm curious to know. I'm curious to know. When you got all these crazy people out here, all this crazy stuff going on, you still got COVID-19 on the scene. I want to figure out. I want to know where you think this is going. I want to know where you think this is going to go to. Listen, man, I'm a realist. See, realists like me, we get the job done. You want to be optimistic. You want to be optimistic. You got the optimist, you got the pessimistic person, and you got the realist. Like I was saying in my other video, you got the optimist, the pessimist, and the realist. I am not the optimist. I am not the pessimist. I am the realist. The realist realize it's better to just go with what is actually happening. This is the safest way to go. Now, I can have a blend of positivity about reality. I can be positive about reality, but I have to let reality take center stage, and I decide how I can change that reality. But sitting up denying reality, you cannot be a realist. How they say they realists? They're more realist than me, right? But how come they ain't talking about this 44 states with child marriage then? That is laws from your American government. How come they ain't talking about that if they're realist? They ain't got nothing to say about that, do they? Then you know what you are? You are an optimist in denial. You're an optimistic person in denial. I'm not telling you nothing that's not true. I'm telling you something that's absolutely real. You're an optimist in denial. All the pessimistic people, I don't know what you're doing right now. I don't know what you're doing right now. But you're not being a realist, I tell you that. You're not being a realist. When you talk about going back to normal. See, a realist has no stress with reality. See, you should try it. Because see, if you was a realist, you wouldn't even be stressed out about this. You would conclude that this is reality. And your mind would tell you, chill out. This is real. This is how it is. But see, when you're an optimistic person or optimist per se, or a pessimist, you're going to say, oh my God, what is going on? See, a realist doesn't say, oh my God, what is going on? A realist realizes what's going on. Reality. That's what's going on. While you're struggling with it, you know why you're struggling with it? Because you're an optimist to a fault. You listen to all these positive teachers and speakers, and they don't know how to be when it comes to this kind of information. Can you imagine having a conversation with Joe Biden talking about 44 states with child marriage? Can you imagine talking to him about this? They try to play that optimistic role, bro. That ain't working. This is a perfect example. How you gonna be optimistic about 44 states with child marriage? That's a 7 hour. How you gonna be? How you gonna be optimistic about that? How? Where's the silver lining in that cloud? Where's the silver lining in the cloud of 44 states with child marriage? Where is the silver lining in that cloud, my friend? Boom. Perfect example. The optimists don't know what to do. The optimists don't know what to say in this situation. See? And the realist dives in wholeheartedly. The realist dives in wholeheartedly. Boom. Tackle the issue. Boom. Ow. Ow and all over the place. Tackling the issue. Showing you what your country really is doing. And ain't losing no sleep at the same time about it. I ain't losing no sleep about it. An optimist don't know what to do. I think some of them crazy. I think some of these people that won't acknowledge stuff like this, and you trying to still be positive, I think you crazy. How can you try to be positive about this? How can you try to be nice about this? I think you're crazy. Listen, man, ain't that much positivity in the world. Ain't that much positivity in the world, man. I don't care what you say. It ain't. Listen, I'm a realist. I really am. I deal with facts on this channel. You get nothing but facts. How am I not a realist? I'm giving you reality all the time. Every video you see is reality. Everyone you see. All these other people giving you conspiracy theories and all of this crazy stuff, wasting time and everything. Wasting time, man. Alex Jones is the perfect example. He's the perfect example. This man wasted so much time talking about all these conspiracies, and he had everybody listening to him. He had influence in everything, respecting the community and everything. Yet we didn't hear him talk about 44 states with child marriage. Yet he was trying to figure out a way to dismantle these powers from over us, wasn't he? It's so ironic to me. The people that talk about all these so-called things and facts and things never come to realizing the truth and the facts in their own country. It's so coincidental, ironic of one of them. Both, maybe. When a man like that talks about everything but doesn't talk about this. You got people talking about people turning into reptiles. You think I care about somebody turning into a reptile, man? Man, you can't be serious, bro. You think I'm serious about somebody being a reptile? Man, that's a joke to a man like me. That's absolutely comical to a man of my stature to be talking about the possibility of reptilian people. You can't be serious, and yet you have people that believe this here. All over the world, they believe this. Man, you think I care about a reptile? You think I care about a reptile? It's foolishness. So I'm trying to show you. And you got more belief than that. And then I want to know what these people that believe that reptiles are here, I want to know what they believe about 44 states with child marriage. I want to see the look on their face. See, that they represent the pessimist in a roundabout weird way. The people that believe that people are reptiles and UFOs and all kind of stuff like that, they are the pessimists. They are the higher pessimists of the world. Well, you think something strange is really going on. You always think some negative, strange stuff going on. Listen, the difference between me and them, I'm telling you the facts. How am I thinking, how am I any kind of way positive or negative about it? I'm not really positive or negative about it. I'm just stating the facts. That's a realist. Now I can choose to be positive or negative about it, but like I said, with the 44 states for child marriage, how are you going to be positive about that? How are you going to be positive that they marrying children in your country? Where's the positivity in that? See, you can't blame God. you can't, listen, you can't blame Christians. We're not like that. Christians are telling you that this world is coming to an end. You know we ain't no optimists. An optimist telling you the world's going to go on forever. A Christian ain't telling you that. Christian telling you better get your soul right. Jesus is coming back. See, that's bad news for the optimists. Well, you're trying to figure out with your crazy self how you can be positive about it. With your crazy positive self. Sometimes it ain't no way to be positive. Sometimes it's just reality. How about that? It's a reality that Jesus is coming back. It's good news for me. It's good news for those who serve the Lord. It's not good news for people that don't. I'm sorry to tell you. There's no positive news for you, buddy. Okay? I can't be optimistic in your situation. I can't be optimistic for you. The only way you win is if you come on our side, buddy. I'm sorry to tell you. And that's being a realist. See, a Christian is really a realist, actually. We're the top of the realist. Well, we know what's really going to be reality, so we're the top of the realist, right? Man, half of these other realists, you're real according to the realities of the earth. We went beyond that. We're real according to the realities of heaven and hell. I think we're a little bit above, we're a little step above you, ain't we? Yeah, I think we done moved up the mountain a little further. Or went down into the valley a little deeper, or in the ocean a little deeper. Which one, however you want to look at it. Up in the sky a little higher, however you want to look at it. We're not going to die. You see what I'm saying? They are. Okay? God told me long time ago, the good guy wins this time. The good guy wins, which is me. Yeah, I know you're used to him losing in this country. You look at Malcolm X, you look at Martin Luther King Jr., and you say, well, if they lost, then he's going to lose. Well, like I told you, they were spiritually vulnerable. They were not totally close to God. But yet you put all your eggs in one basket like nobody can win because they didn't win. I'm sorry they didn't win. I really am. I really would love, you know what? Those guys still could be around. Did you ever think about this? Martin Luther King Jr. actually could still be living. You didn't think about that, did you? Well, look at his age. Look at his age. He still could be here. About late 80s into mid 90s. There's plenty of people alive that age. There's plenty of people alive the same age as MLK and Malcolm X. That's the saddest thing in the world. We can't speak for all generations and times and years, but as of 2022, going into 2023, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. could still be here. That's a 7th hour. They could still be here. And that should anger you. That should anger you. While you got people trying to get you to be optimistic. When you're not going to change anything listen, you ain't going to change nothing being optimistic. In reality, how much change can you get from being optimistic versus being a realist and being angry about something? Okay, you positive. That's going to pacify you from movement. Okay, you're trying to see the positive part of the situation. You ain't going to do too much. Because you looking at the positive part. Well, it ain't like it was when we was in slavery. It ain't like it was when we was not getting any money at all. That's how you looking at it in a positive way. When all these other people got millions and millions and millions of dollars, you just say you just glad to be here. That's the positivity. That's the optimistic part. I ain't man. And how long we been like that? Nah, you need to be angry. You need to be angry. And that's the only way you're gonna get some change. That's the only way. But they fix you into that whole optimistic cult. You optimistic about everything. You optimistic about you're positive about everything. Sometimes it ain't no way to be positive. It's just time for war. That's what time it is. Ain't no time to be positive anymore. How about that? You need people to tell you the truth. It's not time to be positive, buddy. Look at the situation. Look at your country. Look at these people pushing people on trains. Oh, how can you be positive about that too? How can you be positive about people pushing people on trains in New York City? How can you be positive about that? Well, at least it wasn't me. That's close as you get to being positive, buddy. Well, it wasn't me that it happened to. Well, at least he didn't suffer. Man, some people, that's why, now you see what I'm saying when I say some positive people, I feel like they're crazy. Okay. Well, at least he didn't suffer. He didn't suffer long. Are you kidding me? He was hit by a train. And a realist is going to tell you, you know what you need to do? You need to give people 20 years plus for doing that. Here in New York City, y'all need to get a law, because y'all the ones that uniquely have the subways the most and more than any other city. You need to get laws that if somebody does that, they're going to jail for 20 years, man. We don't care nothing about them being on the streets. We don't want to see their face. What they're here for, we don't want to see them. Who wants to see the guy that killed somebody eat a good sandwich? You want to see him dine and eat a great sandwich out at some shop somewhere when he get out for pushing somebody on the train? You want to see him go eat a gourmet sandwich? You don't want to see him eat, do you? You shouldn't want to see him eat. You see how being a realist gets something done? I'm not trying to be positive. I'm not trying to be positive. I'm trying to be a realist. 20 years plus, that's what we do for people like that. And guess what? I guarantee you these other perpetrators will listen, I bet they won't want to do it no more. I bet they won't be doing it. I bet they won't be pushing nobody on no trains. If they know they're going to get 20 years plus, they only doing it because of the lack of punishment for doing it. That's the only reason they're doing it. I can prove to you, and I'm going to prove to you, that the whole psychological part of criminals is only because of crazy charges. You have charges that's nothing. This is part of the psychology of why they even do it. If they knew they was going to die for doing something, you think they're going to do it? Even the craziest criminal going to say, well, I can't do that because I'm going to die for it. You know how many criminals you would stop based on that psychology? Half of your criminals are petty. Half of your criminals are petty thugs. Which means they're not really out there getting no money, hustling. They don't really come from a shoot 'em up mentality. They not no shooters. They really ain't dangerous criminals. Okay? Which means half of their efforts will be dwarfed with real punishments. The only way you're going to change America is, listen, your whole crime punishment system has to get a facelift and a makeover. Listen, man, it had the whole thing, man. That's why the new system that comes, the new government that does come, you're getting 20 years for pushing people on the train. We don't want to see you anyway. You should be glad you ain't dead. Hey, you took a life. You senselessly took a life. You should be glad you don't get life in prison. That's how I look at it. And see the difference between me and the other leaders? Why they weren't telling you about stuff like this? Now, I know times were different, so it's not truly fair for me to talk about, leaders back then talking about crimes, because half of the government, the police, was with the crime. So you couldn't talk about really this in a serious way if you was not white. But white America should have been talking about it. They should have been talking about these racist white people getting harder time. Listen, the whole psychology of all of this is if you're going to have a great country where there is no real crime, for the most part, you have to have serious punishments. You can't care what black people think. You can't care what white people think. You can't care what any other race of people think. They have to suffer. You too nice. I guess that's you being optimistic, isn't it? I guess you're an optimist, aren't you? Well, you ain't passing out some hardcore punishments for the stuff that these people doing. I guess that's you being optimistic. Well, look, we're not locking you up forever. That's the Ned Flanders in you, isn't it? We're not locking you up forever. Honk your horn. We still love you. Tell your loved ones to honk their horn. We still love you. I'm telling you, the only way you're going to change this. Listen. You got to give out 20 years. This is the new standard. 20 years of punishment. Not 5 years. What's 5 years going to do to a guy? Give him more credibility out here on the streets. That's what it's going to do. He does 5 years. He and she does 5 years, and they got more credibility among thugs and gangsters. Yeah, you handle that like a G. Yeah, you handle that like a G, like a straight G. You took